Welcome back to my channel, Star Booze.
Reasons behind Joyce DeWitt's continued refusal to watch. He taped this particular episode in 1977. The birth date of Joyce DeWitt was April 23, 1949. To Paul in Wheeling, West Virginia, and Whit Norma. Despite the fact that she was born in Joyce, spent the majority of her time in West Virginia. Early years in a tiny community of Indiana Speedway, a suburb of Indianapolis, which would mold her hard work and Midwestern sensibility. She was among the 4 kids in the DeWitt household and was raised in a close-knit family, living with her siblings such as Doug, her brother. Her childhood was characterized by conventional principles, a strong feeling of belonging, and a strong focus on education and theater in particular, which would become the passion of her life. Joyce went to senior high school in Speedway, where she initially started investigating her enthusiasm for the performance. Her innate ability and zeal were promptly identified, and she took part in theatrical productions and school plays. Faith hoped to establish the framework for her future. In amusement. After high school, DeWitt went after her academic focus and enrolled at Indiana's Ball State University in Munya School with a thriving theater. There, she threw herself into the art of performing, obtaining a theatrical bachelor's degree while improving her voice, movement, and as well as dramatic interpretation. Dedicated to furthering her education further and be successful in the sector, DeWitt relocated to California to study at the University of UCLA, Los Angeles, California, where she would eventually obtain a master's degree in 1974 with a fine arts degree. Her accomplishment was really noteworthy since she was among the few pupils admitted to the esteemed MFA program at UCLA program. That's acknowledged as one of the nation's best acting programs. DeWitt's acting career started while she was little, 13 years old, when she first appeared on stage in the neighborhood community theater. These preliminary performances not only validated her passion for performing but also provided her with a priceless encounter with live viewers. Her commitment to performing looked good on the television when she made 1975 saw her make her television debut. Is a scene from the well-known crime drama Beretta series. Even nevertheless, the job was brief. It was a pivotal moment. Providing access to further opportunities on television. In 1977, Joyce's career significantly advanced when she secured the position that would enable her to Janet Wood as a well-known figure, the intelligent along with a grounded brunette flatmate on Three's Company, a sitcom on ABC. The program, which focused on the humorous mishaps involving 3 housemates and their miscommunications with their landlords, rapidly evolving into a culture. The way DeWitt portrayed Janet, intelligent, humorous, and frequently the voice operational, struck a chord with viewers and gained hordes of admirers. She stayed up to the series' conclusion in 1984, making appearances in 171 episodes through 8 seasons. Her relationship with co-stars Suzanne Summers and John Ritter Priscilla Barnes later turned into a defining feature of the program, making a significant contribution to its longevity popularity following Thrash Business. DeWitt featured in one of the anthology's episodes, Finder of Lost Loves, is a drama series in 1984, but after making this appearance, Shaw made the unexpected choice to take a break from the spotlight and prolonged absence from performing. The cause of her vocation were private. After several years of operating in the spotlight of celebrity, DeWitt looked for time to think, explore other interests, and revitalize her artistic vitality. In this period, she developed and engaged in philanthropic and humanitarian endeavors work, especially concentrating on problems like starvation and homelessness. Joyce. In 1991, DeWitt made a comeback to acting with a part in the Noises stage production of the Cherry County, Michigan, a playhouse. This trip back to the theater represented her unwavering passion for life, performance, and signaled the start of a slow return to the entertainment industry. In 1995, 4 years later, she starred in Spring Fling, the television film, a romantic comedy where she was on the same screen as famous performers like James Ears, Justin Patt, Jason Hervey, and Bernard Harrington Jr. that year. She produced an appearance as a guest in the episode called the CBS sitcom Sybil's Odd Couple. Her humorous timing and she proceeded with her comeback with made an appearance on the well-liked Fox series Living and Married, thus solidifying her presence in the world of television. DeWitt made his cinematic debut in 2009 with a supporting part in The Family's of the Wild, a film inspired on Jack the Great novel by London. In that year, she additionally returned to the stage in The Married Alive as a funny musical comedy. Adopt contemporary relationships and get married life. These parts showed her sustained enthusiasm for performing and her capacity to adjust to a broad range of many genres. In 2010, she participated in the independent comedy film Failing Better. Now it follows an oddball and a writer-rock guitarist on a peculiar search for a cat that has gone missing. DeWitt had a supporting role giving the character and depth to the film's unconventional storyline. In 2011, Joyce appeared in Miss, an off-Broadway comedy, Abigail's Handbook on Mating Behavior, Dating, and Marriage, where she depicted the titled character as an expert in relationships, who offers amusing and frequently out-of-date life and love advice. That she went back to Canada that same year to participate in a dinner production with friends at Hamilton's Theatre Aquarius. Ontario. This well-regarded drama that examines how complicated marriage is. This camaraderie enabled DeWitt to exhibit her grasp of the dramatic range, and she participated the next year in 2 distinct theatrical productions of Love Letters as a personal drama that documents the many decades that correspondence between two characters. She played Tony Dow's opposite of Tab and Leave It to Beaver Face, a Hollywood star from the 1950s, in distinct renditions, receiving recognition for her honest and moving performances. Apart from her role as an actress, did Jacinto the realm of television as well. Manufacturing. She co-produced in 2003, Behind the Camera, the official account of Thras Company, and a documentary drama on NBC TV that described the tensions behind the scenes. The show's triumphs and controversies brought her fame. The movie offered an honest examination of the dynamics off-screen amongst the actors and offered DeWitt an opportunity to share her perspective on the narrative, especially in regard to her long-rumored disagreement with Suzanne, her host. In her capacity as co-producer, she, the host, displayed her diverse skill and her dedication to maintaining the show's legacy in an honest and in a courteous way. Joyce DeWitt, nevertheless renown and prominence in the public attention, has decided to take the lead in a comparatively private life, especially in the context of romantic family issues and relationships. In her lifetime, she has never married, an option that has piqued interest admirers and devotees for many years. Furthermore, she hasn't had any kids, which has further positioned her distinct from a large number of her contemporaries in the entertainment sector, who frequently juggle prominent careers and familial obligations. Although DeWitt hasn't said anything in information regarding these individual decisions in the press, it's clear that she put her work and freedom first on theater and acting, and possibly her individual development over conventional societal norms. Her choice to be unmarried and being childless could indicate a dedication to self-determination, a conscious attempt to uphold independence in a sector where the public scrutiny can frequently be severe and relentless. Among the most important romantic has connections with actors in her life, and Ray Benica, the director. The pair were engaged in a committed partnership. It took place between 1973 and 1980, a time when DeWitt was becoming more a national recognition as a result of her position as on Thras Company. Janet Wood, the Bactanac, was well known for his involvement at the time on the show Roa as Benny Goodwin. On this background in both performing and the guiding probably connected with DeWitt's personal commitment to the art, despite never getting married. Their relationship was regarded as grave and wasifan, referenced in news articles from that time period. The causes of their last of the split was never made public in skis, but their breakup signaled the end of DeWitt's most well-known partnership. Following their split, DeWitt stated regarding her romantic life, she is generally private, enhancing her reputation as someone who respects privacy and individualities in a world that is frequently delineated biromas and hyperbole. On a more depressing note, DeWitt went through legal issues in later life that momentarily pushed her back into the spotlight. On the 4th of July 2009, she was taken into custody in California's El Segundo for operating a vehicle under the impact. Reports state that she had passed a police roadblock close to a park and was later halted by cops with a suspicion of drunkenness. The local cops booked her to station, where she received an official citation and was freed upon her own recognizance. The detention stood in sharp contrast to DeWitt's public persona, which is generally wholesome. She took many of her devoted supporters by surprise. The event acted as a prompt for the personal difficulties that even the most public people who are calm and collected can't face behind the scenes. The lawful report of the DUI incident transpired the year after. In May, DeWitt filed a plea of no on the 27th of 2010 contest, one misdemeanor count. Driving when intoxicated. In response, the judge put her on probation for 3 years, and she had to finish a 9-month boozer program for education and rehabilitation. A measure intended not just as a kind of discipline, but also as a safeguard against stunned abstinence and behavior. Apart from these circumstances, she was mandated to pay a base fine of $510. This was enhanced even more by the penalty evaluations, increasing the overall monetary impact to a considerably greater number, as payment for her collaboration and readiness to enter a no-plea dispute. The court decided to reject a second count of misdemeanors that had been brought against her initially, although it was undoubtedly a low period in despite her apparently spotless record. DeWitt dealt with the situation maturely and responsibility, meeting the requirements of her phrase and keeping a low profile in the ensuing years. It seems that the occurrence was a single error in judgment, as opposed to a component of a larger trend. She has not had any documented legal problems ever since, even if Joyce DeWitt is the great renowned for playing Janet Wood Thras Company, a popular sitcom. Is still one particular 1977 episode that she has acknowledged on numerous occasions that cannot bear to watch vindicates later. The concerned episode, Strange, Season 2, Episode 5. The show Bedfellows first appeared on October 18, 1977. Initially, The episode may appear like another humorous part of the series that is full of typical misconceptions and slapstick humor, but in DeWitt's case, the filmmaking experience left an irreversible psychological damage that has never markedly recovered. Within Odd Bedfellows, John Ritter's portrayal of Jack Tripper becomes intoxicated and finds himself in bed with the roommate, causing a surge of humorous tension and bewilderment, as though the situation might have ended amusingly, behind the scenes and on screen. The episode was a watershed in DeWitt's collaboration with the producers. Based on multiple interviews she has over the years, Joyce had significant concerns over the script, especially regarding the way it depicted her. She thought it undercut Janet's moral character and made her into a one-dimensional figure that is exclusively used for cheap giggles. DeWitt was traditionally theater training and a master's degree and a UCLA degree. Pursued her craft really. She was devoted to presenting Janet as a powerful, bright, self-reliant woman, not just the counterpoint to the bodily. According to reports, Joyce DeWitt also claimed she felt pressed to leave by the producers. Completed the scene in spite of her objections, which left her feeling helpless and neglected creatively. One of the first times she started to believe that the imaginative path of this business was moving in the direction of superficial stereotypes instead of her comedy was centered on characters that initially agreed upon. This instance of she was disillusioned with art, doubting her role in the program, and create the conditions for upcoming conflicts between the performers and the program's executives. What made her uneasy was the fact they thought the scene needed a unique degree of intimacy and suggestive and Assange herself alongside her co-star. As Joyce and John exchanged a profound regard as a professional and had a friendly friendship, she subsequently disclosed that the scene seemed hurried, uncomfortable, and exploitative. She thought it was written more for ratings and shock value instead of character growth. Thrilling from the audience in the live studio, this was intended to improve their humorous setting, which only made her feel more vulnerable and exposed in theater. Adding to her negative essence was the cultural setting of the moment. Television in the late 1970s was setting limits, and Three's business was well known for its sultry humor and window. However, for Joyce, this episode over a personal boundary. She sensed that the majesty of her character had been sacrificed for the sake of show. Shet has frequently discussed how the humorist of show's tone occasionally clashed. Using her own principles and intuition as an actress, Unusual Bedfellows evolved into In Her Thoughts, a representation of all that was starting to go haywire with the artistic direction of the show. Above, the fans have questioned her about that for years. Episode during conventions and interviews appearances as well as fan correspondence. However, DeWitt has consistently upheld a strict limit. She has publicly admitted that she hasn't seen it again. Note event. Once since it was first shown. She has even stated that she stays away from reruns, DVD collections or marathons that had it. She says it reminds her too much, but acknowledged in a unique instance of vulnerability, not due to what transpired on the screen, however due to the fact that it made me feel like Abath, a performance and a person. That's something I have decided not to relive it. Within the larger framework of her professional life, Joyce did decline to bring this up again. This episode reminds us of the actors frequently deal with emotional difficulties behind the scenes. Many people believe that acting is not merely reciting lines, it's regarding sticking to their values, respecting their personas, and preserving their own integrity. DeWitt's choice can appear insignificant in the large-scale history of television, but it is a turning point in her life, a personal opposition to creative focuses that personally wounded her. Strange Bedfellows continues to exist today, a memorable incident among Three's Company's admirers for its timeless blend of feigning and farce. However, Joyce DeWitt finds it to be something really different, a memory that she selects to stay away from, a chapter in which she would rather not be read.